What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Movement Mindset powered by Station Athletics. I'm Chris Hardenberg here with Joe Pasalacqua. And today we're going to be talking about, for our gym owners, are you coaching class at the demise of your business?
Oh, this is such a good one.
Yeah.
It's just like wild to even think about. I talk about this with friends who are in other businesses a lot to try and get them to understand the really basic term 101 of what this means is time value.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at it as in, let's start with the gym business, then we can kind of shuffle.
Sure.
Okay. If I'm going to coach a class, and let's just say that class is valued at $20 to $25 an
Sure.
hour for me to pay someone to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. What can I be doing to make double, triple, quadruple that per hour? Right. And in our business, it's selling gym memberships or working on your website or doing marketing material, promotional things, right? Like that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Because if you're stuck in that role at $20 or $25 an hour, that's what your value is.
Yes.
And this is what we actually, Armando just applied and we gave him and he accepted the GM position.
This will be coming out after he's gotten it.
As
So,
done
yes.
it, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at that, I had a really long conversation with him and you spoke to him about this.
Yeah.
Is I said, Armando, the most you're ever going to make coaching class is X.
Yes.
Okay. And that's it. Because I don't care how good you are. You could be 10 times better than somebody else, but it's not worth it more than this dollar amount.
Right.
Okay. I go, so this is the most you're going to make per month with me.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Right. And yeah, there's like little things here and there that you can do. You do more PT and this, but I'm like, if you want to progress in this business, you have to leverage what can I be doing that drives more money into the business that then equates to me making, as in him, making more money per hour.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next step is a general manager position. Okay. And he thought about it in depth because he's talked to you about it. He talked to me about it. And it was like the realization. He was like, yeah. And that's all it was. I explained time value to him. Okay. It's no different than if you're like a hairdresser and you're behind the chair the whole time. That's all you're doing is making money working.
Right.
Right. My buddy Zach, who owns the barbershop up the road, same thing. If he's not cutting, he's not making money. But when he opened his own place, now if he doesn't work, he has 3 other barbers working.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about like, okay. And in that time, what is he doing to now make more money than him sitting behind the chair cutting?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of
that's how it works.
The progression of the business, right? Like when you open the gym, you have to coach the majority of the classes, right? Because you can't pay anybody.
Yeah.
And so you're doing everything. But eventually, as you go, you have to pull yourself out of class because, like you said, it's the time value of like, okay, if I pay this coach, let's call it $20 for the hour. And in that hour, I can do 3 consultations for us, that sales process could bring in anywhere from, let's call it $200 to $400, $500, whatever you're selling. All of a sudden that hour became worth $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. And not only is that hour worth $1,000, but that progresses the business forward. And so there's 2 main reasons I see, and maybe you have more, so you can always jump in, but there's 2 main reasons I see why business or gym owners get tied to coaching class. One is their ego, right?
Oh, so that's the biggest one.
Yes.
It's actually ridiculous.
Yes.
No one can coach better than me.
Yes, that's
I'm
exactly
the greatest trainer on the planet Earth. Okay, you're still broke.
You'll still have 20 members in your gym.
Yeah, it's like it blows my mind.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's like that mentality of no one's a better coach than me. I can't, my members, they're so sad when I don't coach class, and all that might be true.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I can agree to that.
Yeah,
I totally agree to that.
But it's at the expense of your business because it's like I'm coaching all these classes and I'm great at coaching the 30 members I have. It's like you have no one in your gym. And so it's like, do you think you could hire someone and train them to be 90% as good as you? Mm-hmm. And then the clients get a great experience. They eventually, most of the members at Station Road have no idea you ever coached a class.
They don't even know who the hell I am.
Exactly.
It's actually the funniest joke in our business is I'll walk into the gyms and people are like, and I'm behind the desk, just doing whatever the hell I want. They're like, who is that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's Joe. Like, oh, I thought he was going to be older.
Yeah. Yes. Or like people will think that I own the gyms because they see my face on everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. That guy owns the gyms. And they're like, he does? I see him in the class all the time. It's like, yeah, he owns the place. But it's literally like you're not letting go of your ego, and that is preventing you from actually progressing your business.
No, but you see me though, because so again, as many of you know, me and Chris work out together a lot in
Yeah.
the 330 class with like Courtney, but like I'll give members cues.
Yeah.
And they don't even know who the hell I am.
Right.
Right. But it's just like, because it's embedded in my head, right? That it's like yesterday, some new guy started and I'm like, Court, tell him to move his hands out because we're just snatching.
Yeah.
He's like, he just started, and she'll like yell at me because I'm like this, like I have a tick of like, I'm going to go over there and say something and she yells at me. So I try to like let her coach her classes, right? Because I want my staff to handle that. Right. But I give criticism on a regular basis to all of them about things.
Right.
So I guess like when you look at what you said about the time value of a gym owner, right? This is why so many of them don't progress. But how we figured it out, and I'll use myself as an example, before Chris started working for me, the progression was I tried to do literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I let go of certain things, but then I was still overshadowing them. And that's why my weeks were 70, 80-hour weeks.
Yep.
Okay. And then the progression was, wow, we started selling, we started running ads, we started doing our challenges. It took the realization of me physically having money in my hand from selling a membership, being like, wow, I'm way better suited here than I am here.
Yeah.
That's what it took. Like when we were selling,
Oh my
30,
gosh.
40 challenges in a month.
It's like drinking water through a fire hose.
That was the realization for me though, to be like, I should not be coaching classes anymore.
Not even should. You can't.
I can't be because I needed to be in the office because of how busy the locations were. Okay. And then the realization was I was doing all the ads.
Yeah.
And then John for the longest time was, let me help with it. Let me help with it. Let me help with it. And then finally he started doing it. So then, because again, I was better suited like in the actual office, selling the memberships, running the challenges, doing the weigh-ins. That's where I was. And we talked about this a few weeks ago to where like, if you fast forward to now, I've never been better at my job now because everyone does their job. I oversee things. I was actually looking in the same Google sheet that Brandon was this morning.
That's actually hilarious.
I was going to type something, but I changed my mind. I was thinking about typing something. I was going to type something, but I changed my mind.
Okay.
I should have. It would have been perfect timing. So now my job has been to pretty much work with you on developing the business to move forward, new locations and setups, purchases, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But still overseeing a lot of things.
Sure.
Okay. But like, that's where I'm best suited right now. I'm not suited in having a conversation with the GMs.
Right.
I'm not suited with asking any questions outside of how many memberships were sold this month.
Well, and a lot of it is like you have to, every step of the way, you've had to give up a little bit more control, and you've had to give trust to someone to run things the way you want it. And that's not an easy process.
Oh.
Especially when it's your baby, right?
And at the end of the day, man, it's your money too.
Yes.
Like that's what the thing is like, and I'm in the mindset, and you know this, of if the more control you are, the less likely that there's going to be a financial like issue.
Yeah.
Because you're the one making the decision.
Correct.
But you can't do that.
Yeah.
You
Because it prevents your
can't.
growth.
You just can't. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole premise of that. So like now if you backtrack to like the whole conversation of like, so the reason why we titled that, are you coaching at the demise of your business? It's because so many gym owners in particular, or business owners in general, you own a deli, you own a restaurant, doesn't matter what it is. If you're the one cooking the food in the restaurant, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because what happens? What happens if you're sick?
Right. Restaurant's closed.
Restaurant's closed?
Right.
Right. My grandpa used to tell me this shit. He used to be like, I'd be like, oh, I want to go in the restaurant business. For a long time, I wanted to do that.
Okay.
I remember I told you this. And he'd be like, well, what happens if the chef leaves? And I was like, huh, never thought about that. Right?
Right.
Because you need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same exact thing. I'm not going to go into the hair business and then be like, oh, no, my barber didn't show up today, so I'm going to cut the hair.
Right.
Right. Like that's what I'm saying is like, you have to be able to fill. And we have a procedure for this now, right?
Yes, we do.
And a clear example is if you're the one coaching classes and you don't have other staff to help you, what happens if you're sick or you break your leg or you hurt your back and you can't, like, what if you just can't be there? You close.
Forget about going on vacation.
Yeah, forget about going on vacation, right? You're done.
Right.
Right. And then if you go one step further, like what if you don't have someone to help you with sales and backfill? Guess what? You're not selling that week. Okay. But the gym will operate, but you're not progressing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a backfill system for everything that a gym owner doesn't typically understand the concept of that. Right. And it's like, you want the business, the way I look at it is, if you are stuck coaching classes, your business will never, ever in a bazillion years progress. I could leave, go to California,
Mhm.
and everything will be fine.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And that's kind of like progresses into the second thing, right? Because we said ego is like the main thing that will keep someone coaching class. And the second thing, and I heard this a lot, as Joe will know, at my last gym, the gym I worked out 8 years ago, that
Hero's journey.
we'll say it is no more. You always heard like, well, I want to be about the members. I don't want to be about the money. I want to be about the members. I don't want to be about the money. And what people don't realize is if you don't keep your eyes on
exactly what you're going to say.
if you don't keep your eyes on the money, you know what happens? You have no business and you help 0 people. 0. So it's like you think you're about the members by just being like not thinking about the revenue. And so it's like, I want to be coaching class because I'm all about the members. And it's like, okay, that's great. But when your gym closes, how many members are you helping? So you have to be about the sales, the marketing, and bringing in the money, because that is what allows you to have a business to actually help people in the first place.
Yeah. And that's the biggest misconception is it's like, I'm in this business for the people. I am too.
Yes.
But guess what? The money pays the rent.
Yes.
The money pays the coaches that you like. The money pays for all the equipment upgrades. The money pays for everything. Right? So like, you have to look at both.
Yes.
We are client specific, client experience driven, but guess what? The dollars are just as important.
Right, because the dollars is what keeps the gym open to keep the high quality client experience. So that's where it's like, those are the 2 main things I see why a gym owner gets stuck in coaching class when they need to be doing something else, is their ego and a lack of understanding that you have to be about sales. You have to be about marketing. You have to be about training your team, because if you do those things well, you get to better affect more people, and you are about the members then, instead of being short-sighted and being like, well, I have to coach my 30 members to affect change. And then in 2 years when your doors close, you're stuck making recommendations for those 30 people on what gym to go to next.
And this is why I don't do gym consulting anymore.
Yeah.
Like gym owner consulting anymore. Don't even consider it anymore. I get messages on a regular basis.
I couldn't even
Like,
imagine.
it makes sense that I would, but I go, nah, I'm good. Right? It's not that I don't want to make an extra couple $1,000, coaching someone through. They all have the same problem. They are their own bottleneck, every single one of them. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to use Chris as an example.
Sure.
Right? I'd say 6 months ago, right? Like we were trying to phase Shannon into the district manager role.
Yeah.
So Chris by definition is the COO of the company.
Yeah.
Okay. But Chris was not really that position until recently, because he was technically the district manager for all the GMs.
Yes.
Okay. So what I need Chris for is I need Chris to help me drive the business forward, not the day-to-day bullshit.
Yes.
Okay. And I say that not
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tongue in cheek. I don't mean it like that, but I do mean it like that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't need Chris to be dealing with minuscule problems that the GM should be able to handle themselves. Okay. Ordering issues or collection issues, like anything that you deal with on a regular basis,
Sure.
right? That should not fall on you to be able to do that. That's why we have a lot of automation systems and things like that. So I had to have a long conversation with you multiple times about, Chris, you have to move yourself out of this, and we need to do it even if we're not financially ready to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because what it allowed him to do now is we took like monstrous leaps forward. This episode will probably come out when Summit is open, roughly. But we opened a gym in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. From A to Z, right? Because I was able to include you in the process from A to Z because you had more time to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the vision of being able to do that. So that's what you've accomplished in the last like 6 months in particular.
Yeah.
Okay. And you gave Shannon the entire district manager role to be able to do that. Okay. Same thing with Dave, same exact thing. When we brought him into the role, same exact thing. It's like, you're the district manager and this is how you're doing it, right? So you created a bottleneck on yourself, which indirectly affected me to be able to progress the way that I wanted to progress.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at coaching class and you don't want to go out of that, well, you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
So going back to like why I don't do gym consulting anymore is because they're all owner operators and they will never in their head come out of that.
Yeah.
They just won't do it.
And it's tough to be the one providing the advice and the guidance. It's like, you need to do this. And then it's like 3-4 months, because you've experienced this. Joe's done consulting here or there, one-offs, and it's like, okay, this is what you need to do. And 2-3 months go by and they still haven't done what you told them
And
to do.
most of the time it's decision making.
Right. So, and that's the thing, guys, at the end of the day, you know, I think this is a good place to kind of wrap up. It's like, if you want your gym to progress forward, obviously first place you have to start is coaching class, because there's no way around
You
that.
have to do everything. You will always be
Yes.
an owner operator when you open any business.
Exactly.
And if you're not, you're probably going to fail because you never learn the bits and pieces of the business.
Exactly. And then, but then once you get things off the ground, you start getting 20, 30, 40 members, you have to start moving away in order to grow. And you got to leave your ego behind and the wrong story you're telling yourself about how you're helping people in order to help your business grow.
Agreed.
So yeah, guys, I know this is a little bit of a shorter one. We thought it was super important to touch on. Please, as always, guys, continue to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram. Give us a 5-star rating on the podcast platform you listen on, and we'll see you at the gym.
Peace.
Peace.